Hey everyone, I'm Coach Wolverine, the owner and creator of the Wolverine Lifestyle, and the co-host to the channel, A Conversation Over Drinks. Today I had an interesting thought on the brain, occupying my brain space. And it has to do with our ego and our conscience. So my question is, and this is one that I've been asking myself and catching myself in all day actually, is, are we struggling to get where we want in life on purpose? And it's an interesting thought, is are we purposely sabotaging ourselves? Now, the reason why I asked this question is, our conscience, the little voice in the back of our heads that tells us we shouldn't be doing this or we should be doing that. How often do you listen to it? I'll admit there are times I don't listen to it when I should be listening to it. Nothing terrible. A lot of times it has to do with, if I'm not eating properly or, taking an extra scoop of peanut butter or something like that when I'm trying to lose a couple pounds or what have you. But, I spend time on social media and, for the gentleman out there, this question: if you're in a committed relationship, how often do you catch yourself or find yourself looking at pictures of women with the little voice inside of your head telling you probably shouldn't be doing this because you have a wife or a girlfriend at home? Now, I know I kind of cut straight to the chase there, and it might be a little bit triggering, but I'm asking you that, like, legitimately, because I know that's a big one. It's something that I used to do all the time in my past. I don't anymore because it is a freaking waste of time. And I have a gorgeous girlfriend at home that I am more than thankful and more than lucky to get to come home to. So I don't do that. But I remembered back at a time when I did consume content for that. So now my question is that something that you struggle with? Do you consume smut and convince yourself why it's okay to consume it? Oh, well, she's not going to know. Well, I'm just looking. Well, just that. But what we don't realize is that when we consume content like this, we start building comparisons in our imagination unconsciously. This creates hidden built resentment in relationships. And it's a waste of time. Again, it's just a waste of time. There's so many more valuable things that one could be doing with your time instead of scrolling on Instagram to just look at stuff like that. So in any other goal aspect in life, when you know there's things that you've made a commitment to do, right? And a commitment is a promise to ourselves that we're going to follow through with something because we said so. A commitment is a promise to self. So when we commit to a vision, to a goal, an outcome that we are hoping to one day achieve, yet we still willingly go against or have actions that go against the steps towards that goal, that vision, that outcome we hope to achieve. And that little, our conscience kicks in and starts saying, you sure you should be doing that? You sure that's a good idea? How often do you listen? I'm willing to bet, it's going to be a bit of a trigger warning right here, but I'm willing to bet if you are not in a position in your life where you want to be or where you think you should be, you're probably not listening to your conscience nearly as much as you think you are. This was a tough pill for me to swallow in a lot of aspects. And the reason being is that our conscience and our ego will argue with each other. It's an internal dialogue argument. It's like when a smoker goes to quit smoking And then an hour later, after making that commitment, they're like, oh man, I really could use a cigarette. Well, this is my last one. Well, this is my last pack. Well, I'll quit next week. Or a person that has an addiction to food or sugar in food makes the commitment to change their dietary lifestyle. But then it's all of a sudden the Christmas holidays or Easter or Thanksgiving or whatever. And then we convince ourselves that, oh, well, I don't know when I'm going to have this snack again. I don't know when I'm going to get this little treat again. This might be it. Okay, well, after the holidays, I'll stick with it. I've been guilty of that one. There was a time that I smoked as well. I was guilty of continuously going back, having another one. Well, this is my last one. This is my last one. And it's interesting to sit in thought and self-reflection on oneself of the past and actually analyze, where would we be now if we actually followed through with the commitment we made in the past, however long ago that was. Now, to use the health example again, because I've worked heavily in that industry for so long, New Year's resolutioners and weight loss. When you state that I'll start when, on Monday, next month, the new year, whatever, it gives our ego permission to justify why starting or taking the steps towards that goal, that vision, is not important, and why the current discomfort that we are sitting in is better because it's familiar. So that's really what it boils down to, is when we are not listening to the little voice in our head saying, you shouldn't be doing that, shouldn't be doing this. It's because what we are doing, what we are indulging in, that bad habit we are following through with, is familiar. So, to wrap it all up in a nutshell, do you want change? Because I know I did. I'm not speaking as an expert. This is purely just thoughts that I had today, because I caught myself many times of like, oh, I see myself here not listening to my conscience for the little things. Yeah, food is, for me, is a big one, right? I train because I like to eat, and I eat because I like to train. So I find ways to justify that to myself when consuming things I probably shouldn't be consuming. Fortunately, my girlfriend likes to be kicking my butt and making sure that I'm on track with what I should be eating because of the commitments that I made. So, my pondering thoughts today lead me to entice you to a challenge. Pay attention to your thoughts for the rest of the day and for tomorrow. And pay attention to when your conscience pipes up. And see what your ego is going to try and rationalize to you to make why you're not doing what you know you should be doing. Why is it trying to make it okay? What are the excuses that you tell yourself? So I know that my ego has come up with some pretty interesting excuses, and when I think back onto it, I'm like, boy, like really? That's the best that my ego could have come up with? And it's really interesting when we are in a place of desperation for whatever it is that we are wanting to fulfill. The excuses we make to ourselves are pretty, like when we say them out loud, I know when I say the ones that I have out loud, I'm like, wow, that's just not cool. That's worse than a 4-year-old trying to sell you on why they deserve 2 desserts. So my challenge for you for the rest of today, or from whenever you watch this, and for the next day, pay attention to what your ego is trying to justify you out of. Pay attention to what the little voice in your head is saying. That's it for today, guys. Please like, share, or subscribe on whatever platform you are consuming this on. I appreciate any comments, concerns, queries, posers, ponders, and I'll be back at you soon with more thoughts to ponder on. Take care, everybody.